Where are the other members of parliament who are supposed to be Muslims? You are Muslims, aren't you? This woman cries. Outside the Tunisian parliament, people have gathered in protest. They want to have more religion, more Islam in Tunisian politics. They feel ignored and abandoned. They see street protests as their most effective weapon. Hamida bin Ahmed is reporting on the protests. She's a correspondent from Radio Cap FM, a radio station in Deutsche Welle Akademie's training program. Hamida reports from the capital. She records everything on her mobile phone. It's all she has to work with. We join her as she goes in search of a story. Hamida is in luck. She gets an interview with Maherzia Laabidi, the deputy president of parliament. Laabidi is a member of Ennahda, the moderate Islamist party that runs the Tunisian government. The night before, there were riots in Tunisia. The Salafists were reportedly responsible. The deputy president of parliament denies that the Salafists were involved and says their call for more Islam is legitimate. We see how difficult it is in Tunisia to find out the real facts. Journalists take many risks in their quest to report the truth. Hamida tells of constantly being attacked, beaten, and abused. She says that their equipment is often destroyed and they lose valuable information. But she adds that all journalists have to go through this if they want to do their job. She tells us that she often fights her way through the crowds without telling anyone she's a journalist so that she can get information. She often hides her equipment and even her pen and then writes the story later. Journalists face an enormous battle to get the stories out in Tunisia. And most journalists are only now learning what a free press means. We drive to Hammamet, around 60 kilometers south of Tunis, where Hamida's radio station Cap FM is based. The station was only founded in January. Everyone working here is young and new to journalism. Many are straight out of college. Since the start of the week, they have support from Germany. Charlotte Noblet from the DW Akademie is helping to set up a structured daily schedule. The DW Akademie is working with 6 radio stations in Tunisia at the moment. Charlotte Noblet explains that they noticed there were problems between the editorial staff and reporters. She says that they contacted the reporters to explain how everyone can work together. They now talk 3 times a day and ask what the plan is for the day, so there isn't just pure improvisation. The aim of the DW Akademie is to help journalists solve their daily problems and to accompany them when they're making programs or out reporting on a story. Private radio stations like these didn't exist when President Zain al-Abidine Ben Ali was in power. Slowly but surely, Tunisia's media landscape is becoming more diverse. There would be no Cap FM if the revolution hadn't happened, says Charlotte Noblet, because they wouldn't have been given a license. The revolution made Cap FM possible. A woman is in charge of Cap FM, Charlotte tells us, something that's very new and unique. The young people working here are highly motivated and well-trained, but a lot of their daily work is improvisation. Every morning they meet to decide roughly what will happen during the day, but there's no editorial meeting or discussion of the topics for the day. Nahla Bougania is in charge of the short news block at the top of every hour. And the Salafists are headline news. For Nahla, this job is a calling because she wants change in Tunisia. Nahla says she hopes that there will be more radio stations in Tunisia. She wants to give society and the political landscape new ideas. And to do that, she says Tunisia needs more radio stations. Back in Tunis, we see a deeply divided Tunisia. On the one side, people fighting for progress and democracy. On the other, hardline Islamists. And right in the middle, journalists are often caught in the crossfire in the battle for power. Munsif Labiad is a correspondent at RTCI, the former state radio. We join him as he pays a visit to blogger Ramzi Batayeb, who has just ended a 2-week hunger strike. The military police confiscated 2 of his cameras. He's prepared to die for press freedom. He's one of the main activists of the revolution. In the fight for freedom, he suffered torture and imprisonment under the rule of President Ben Ali. Munsif asks him if he believes that more blood will be spilled in Tunisia. Ramzi Batayeb says he thinks this could be the case. After his last encounter with the military police, he learned that the supporters of Ben Ali are getting stronger. Ramzi says they are working behind the scenes and are invisible. They used to be visible when they had power, but today they are invisible but very, very strong. Ramzi says they are working to pit Tunisians against one another. Munsif presents a radio show in German. Once again, the Salafists are making the headlines. Rüdiger Mark from the Deutsche Welle Akademie is in the studio. Since 1965, the DW Akademie has been working to promote free and independent media, especially in developing nations and countries in political transition. For the former Tunisian state radio, the new beginning after the revolution is a big challenge. Everyone here is struggling to deal with the new situation. Rüdiger Mark explains to Munsif Labiad that when he presents a show, he has to know exactly which words to use and why. And he has to think about what he wants the listeners to remember. It's a new experience to get feedback after a show. It's all new for Munsif. Everyone does whatever they want. They present the shows the way they want. There are no rules, says Munsif. Munsif and his colleagues have to start from scratch in their jobs. It's a difficult task. We join him at home with his family. He lives in Ez-Zahra, a suburb of Tunis. Many people here are unemployed. The weak economy has taken its toll. Munsif grew up here and studied in Germany. He lives with his mother in a former garage. Munsif introduces us to his mother. He explains that she's suffering from Alzheimer's. He says his brothers visit sometimes. He says that it's tough, but they manage. This is Munsif's room. He earns barely enough to survive. The house belongs to his father. He couldn't afford to pay rent. For us, it's shocking to see how our journalist colleagues live in Tunisia. It's impressive that he can perform so well at his job while coping with conditions like these. Monsef wants to improve his situation. That motivates him to attend the DW Akademie seminar. Rüdiger Mack is talking today about the fundamentals of independent journalism. Since the fall of the Ben Ali regime, there have been no guidelines for the journalists at the former state radio RTCI. There is freedom now, but that doesn't mean that the output is better quality. Questions about what the listener wants to hear, how to prepare a news show, what is objective reporting? All these questions are new. Rüdiger Mack says it's comparable to the situation after the fall of the Berlin Wall in Germany. The journalists from the former East Germany suddenly had to deliver critical journalism. Rüdiger says that in Tunisia, journalists were often ordered to ask certain questions of certain people at press conferences. Now, Rüdiger says they have to ask critical questions themselves and find their new position and new role as a journalist. Rüdiger Mack and his colleagues will work with the journalists in Tunisia until elections in March next year. The aim of the DW Akademie is to strengthen the media in Tunisia and in so doing help to build a stable democracy. The greatest goal that all Tunisians have reached, says Monsef, is the right to freedom of opinion. Monsef says everyone feels free, so free that some people have gone over the top and don't know where the boundaries are anymore. The newfound freedom will culminate in elections next year, when Tunisians at this radio station and across the country will decide the course of a new, free Tunisia.